At least we're actually getting proven right this time as to why Trump actually wants to go to war with Venezuela.
You're looking at brand new video released within the last hour officially from the Attorney General. You can see the tanker in the distance, U.S. agents rappelling down from helicopters you see here. They appear to search cabins and compartments on board as the footage goes on. The Attorney General says the agents executed a seizure warrant for a crude oil tanker used to transport sanctioned oil from Venezuela as well as Iran. And you're looking at this brand new video. As you can see, it's courtesy of the Attorney General, and it is unclassified according to the United States, which is why it's now on the news. The New York Times reports a federal judge signed off on this warrant. Of course, there is a domestic element to this, the laws being applied, but also this is a major international act.
Yeah, of course it's an international act. We just confiscated a freaking oil tanker. And when Trump was asked about this, his response was just really so flippant, right? He's like, yeah, we took it. Not just that, I was told it's the biggest oil tanker ever taken, ever seized. And being proud of the piracy. 15% of the country agree with this, right? 85%. I'm going to go ahead and say the entire country. If that's 85%, we're going to go ahead and round that up because we're really close for that to being the entirety of the population. Nobody wants this shit to happen. Nobody wants war with Venezuela. We just got out of war in the Middle East. We don't want to dive headlong into another one. This is ridiculous. There's no justification for us to be doing any of this. First it was drug boats. Now we're taking oil tankers. We know exactly why. Like we said, I mean, they've been pretty out in the open. Everyone knows that Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world, I think. And that's what this is actually about, right? And kind of that cash grab that this administration is, going after the largest oil reserve in the world when it's against the will of the people just kind of makes, I mean, it's par for the course for this administration. Truly it is. It's done everything that it can to work against the will and wishes of the people. And you're saying, well, at least they're working, for the goals of their base. This wasn't the goal of their base. This is supposed to be an anti-war president. They're saying he's the president of peace, right? He's talking about ending all these wars, but the major wars he never ended. You can talk about Israel and Gaza. Gaza, what 95% of the buildings are destroyed. It's just a wasteland now. We're talking about Russia and Ukraine. That's still going on, and half the Ukraine is going to end up going to Russia. This entire thing's a joke. But hey, buy stock in the military-industrial complex because, I mean, let's all chase that bag at this point because that's what the country is about now, just chasing a bag. We all want a Fendi.
I'm going to have to do this one from the car so I don't scare my dog. Why the fuck is the United States seizing fucking oil tankers off of the coast of Venezuela? For what? What the fuck are we doing? Are you trying to be like Russia? You know what I mean? Does he want to be Pirates of the Caribbean? Har me matey. What the fuck is wrong with this fucking man, y'all? And then they asked him about it, blah, blah, and he's like, oh, it's the biggest one. Oh, it's the biggest one they've ever seen. Oh, it was so huge. It's the biggest one. Okay, Mr. fucking Titanic. We know that you're a size queen. We know that you like a big one, baby. But would you please, for the love of God, quit embarrassing my fucking country and making us look like fucking ignorant shit? And they were like, what are you going to do with oil? We'll keep it, I guess. So what are we, like, the fucking thieves of the goddamn world now? This shit ain't right, and fuck the GOP.
We have been for a while, to be completely honest. We've been stealing everything from the entire world. But this is a whole different level. I mean, at least you fooled the American people into supporting Iraq. You fooled the American people into supporting Afghanistan. But how do you fool the people into supporting Venezuela? There hasn't been any false flag attacks. Right? There hasn't been any kind of provocation, really, from Venezuela. Do they even send angry tweets? I don't think they did. In fact, I remember Maduro getting up, and I don't even like the guy. I don't, honestly, I'm going to be completely transparent. Venezuela's domestic policies and politics is just not something that's in my wheelhouse. But do they pose an existential threat to the United States? Yeah, no, they don't. So I don't see a reason why we're going to be launching a campaign in their country. Because the only way you can actually do this is to invade their country by land. We can go over the country and we can bomb with drones. We can use Palantir to target specific areas. The fact is, at some point, you're going to have boots on the ground. And this becomes Vietnam 2.0 with all the profits of Iraq. I mean, in what way does this benefit the American people? I mean, this entire administration is just built off provocative statements and lies. And none of it benefits the American people. Whether it's talking about, the economy is the greatest economy it's ever been, while at the same time, the cost of living crisis, the housing crisis, nobody can afford anything, blah, 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 blah. Doing away with tax subsidies, that way, medical costs, health insurance costs are going to double and triple for the average American. None of this is for the American people, right? I mean, talking about groceries, like groceries is a term that you basically invented. You found it's an archaic word that no one uses, but that just shows that you're so out of touch. But people can barely afford groceries. They're getting the groceries on layaway now. It's beyond out of touch, because I think Trump himself actually understands that everything's just jacked up right now, right? And the true distraction, because it's almost a meme, right? When America's economy is bad, we go to war. America's economy is bad. We're going to go to war with a country that we can obviously win against, right? The actual threats out there, the actual threats to our country, do we actually go toe-to-toe with them? No. This isn't about being brave, and this isn't about doing what's best for the people. War is never good for the people. It's always good for the ruling class, but it's never good for the people, because it's the people who fight in the wars. And I don't want my people to fight in the wars when we have so many things that we need to take care of now. And this isn't even a war that's justified. This is just pure adventurism. It's all that it is. And you can say, well, they're friendly with Russia, they're friendly with China. Yeah, they've been friendly with them for a very long time. Nothing's changed there. There's a lot of countries out there that are friendly with Russia, that are friendly with China, but that doesn't mean we go to war with them. If that was the case, we would have just gone to war with BRICS in general. But we haven't done that. This is a money grab. This is trying to capture the oil reserve of a country that's weaker than you. This is punching down, is what it is. And it's going to cost lives. Not just Venezuelan lives, but American lives. And I don't want to see my brothers and sisters from the military go into this shit. And no one does.
We're going to war. We're going to war. We're going to war in Venezuela, a country that is the same density of force like Vietnam, the same conflict we didn't win then. We're about to go to war because of a bunch of bureaucrat billionaires sitting in a house. Your sons and daughters are going to have to go touch the land in Venezuela to go conquer and take out a world leader that we have no business being there. Go look up the actual numbers about how many U.S. soldiers died in Afghanistan. The numbers are fudged. Go look up the accurate numbers. This is crazy. This is the shit they rioted about during Vietnam. They was in the streets. When they was in the streets about this shit.
That's the thing. We can talk about riots and protests, and right now, this administration is collecting names of those who oppose policy, traditional marriage, different ideas on gender, basically anything that goes against the White House cartel's kind of notion of what reality in America not just is, but should be. In no way is it rooted or grounded in reality. It's all just kind of a faith-based policy. This is different from, the 60s. American people now, we hit with this shit constantly. Constantly we're hit with this shit. It's one thing after another. Between ICE, between tariffs, between cost of living, between the constant threat of layoffs. Am I going to have a job tomorrow? It's one thing after another. And every day there's 5 or 6 crazy things that are being said on Truth Social by our president that would make the media's head spin 10 years ago before any of this nightmare actually started. But the thing is, it's just normal. And for most Americans, we're like, well, there's nothing we can do about it because the Democrats, they're not doing anything. They're not actually showing that they have any teeth. We have a few people that are out there that are doing things. I love me some Bernie. He's the only person out there who's actually telling truth, I guess, who's actually at least talking for the interest of the American people. Because at this point, everything's just against the American people, right? Because like I said, number one, in what way does this benefit the American people? That's the thing that we need to ask ourselves before we even go into the morality of starting a war for no other reason than it being a preemptive measure.
We just hijacked a oil tanker. I don't give a what you think about third world countries. Third world countries have proven time and time again they whoop ass. Okay, we got missiles. Okay, we got drones. You still have to go conquer the land. You don't attack a castle and burn it to the ground. You go there to conquer.
Venezuela is a different story altogether. And I said this in one of the last videos in the comparison between Iraq and Venezuela. The Venezuelan people have been going through hardship for a very long time, right? They're sturdy, a durable people. They're not like Americans who are going to have a crash out if Starbucks closed down. These are people who are ready to endure because they've been enduring for quite some time. And the thing about America is, because we have a president every 4 years, hopefully that continues to be the case. The rest of the world understands that essentially they just need to hold out. And Venezuelans can hold out because they've been holding out against their own government for the longest time, let alone the United States. Can we go in and do serious damage to their country? Can we blow it up? Can we reduce it to rubble? Yeah, of course we can. But number one, the international outcry and this entire administration probably be dragged into the Nuremberg. And maybe they should. But the idea that we're just going to hit them hard, and then that's going to be it. It's going to be a victory like that. No. Even if you went ahead and took out Maduro, you don't actually win the war, right? You put Venezuela in an existential crisis, they're going to fight for their lives. And Americans are fighting by choice. And 85% of them don't actually support the choice that's being hoisted upon their shoulders. This isn't the kind of weight that the American people are ready or wanting to carry. Nobody wants a war in Venezuela. It's as simple as that. We can talk about it all day, but honestly, talk about its popularity. It doesn't even make sense because no one in America supports it except, like I said, 15 people. It might as well be 15 people, but 15% of the population. So just discussing whether it's justified or not is almost a non-starter because 85% of the country says no.
People ask, listen, your sons and daughters are going to have to go over to fucking Venezuela and be away from home, risk not coming home because of your president's agenda. At first, he told you, it's about the criminals coming into our country. Then he told you it was about the drugs that were coming into the country. And now we just hijacked an oil tanker. Do you know what Venezuela has a lot of? What are we doing, America?
Well, that's something that I think increasingly Americans are beginning to ask themselves. What are we doing? What is the purpose to all of this? Like I said, how does this serve the American people? But everyone knows at this point that the American government, this administration, doesn't serve the American people. It serves Wall Street. It serves the military-industrial complex. It serves foreign governments before it serves its own people. That's why we see so much money being, thrown at other countries for so many different bullshit reasons. Well, the American people get what? Nothing? $40 billion to Argentina to help them out because you're friends with the president? Decimating the agricultural sector in America, even though they're part of your core voting base. And at the same time, you're going to give them a bailout for $12 billion, which is just a fraction of what they actually need. And all that's going to go to is the banks that they're in debt to, because all that money is going to go to pay off their debts to make sure that their businesses aren't foreclosed on. So this is a bailout to Wall Street again, because that's all this is for. Nobody wants this war. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody wants this war in Venezuela. If you do, go ahead, put it in the comments section. I would love to see your justification, and don't let it be fentanyl, because we all know that that's not made in Venezuela. And if it does, it's a very tiny amount. It all pretty much comes from Mexico, but we're not going to war with Mexico, right? Pretty much all of it comes from China. Are we going to go to war with them? No, of course not. So we have to think, what's the outcome of this? But be careful what you say, and maybe don't put your thoughts out there, or else you're going to make Donald Trump's naughty list, I guess the FBI is putting together. And I'm probably already on that. There's nothing I can say to get out of that at this point. If the shoe was on the other foot, and this is the Democrats, I'd be saying the exact same thing. but it's not, right? It's a small fraction of the United States who's going absolutely batshit insane, and it's ruining the country for the rest of us. So you got to say something about it, right? That doesn't make you a traitor. No, I'm speaking up for 85% of Americans right here, right? If you're only speaking up for 15% of Americans, maybe you're a traitor. I don't know. Something to think about. If you're still here at this point, like and subscribe. Think about becoming a member. God bless America. God save America. God protect the American people. Take care.